In this video, I will show you how to use drip tape, also known as T-tape, irrigation system, using supplies from Fedco, an organic grower supply company in Clinton, Maine. A drip tape irrigation system is efficient in many ways. It saves time in having to hand water your garden, and it also saves water. Compared to sprinklers, drip tape loses almost no water to evaporation. Before I discuss how to implement a drip tape system, I first want to touch on designing an irrigation system based on your garden needs. Drip tape can often spew water in about a 6-inch radius. That is 6 inches on either side of the tape. This is given you have enough water pressure. In order to measure your water pressure, you can measure the amount of seconds it takes to fill a 1-gallon pail from your spigot. Take this number and divide it by 3,600. Don't plan to use more than 80% of that number. The T-tape that Fedco supplies uses 20 gallons per hour per 100 feet. Generally, using a layout of 1,000 total feet of T-tape would take 200 gallons of water each hour it is running. It's a lot of math, and Fedco has a page to help you calculate your own water pressure and how much T-tape you will need, linked in the description of this video. At the Colby Garden, we often plant in 2 rows within each bed, running a drip tape line for each row. We often have about 30 rows that are 50 feet long, making for about 3,000 total feet of drip tape, alternated between 3 different inputs. We try to get each section on for about an hour to an hour and a half every day. In a home garden, you may want to put the T-tape more densely together if you are densely planting within that area. In order to cover a raised bed with width of 6 feet at my family's house, I used about 6 lines for each bed in order to water the entire surface of the raised bed. Here's how you would assemble a system using mainline, T-tape connectors, and T-tape. First, we lay out our main line across one end of the area that we want to water. If your garden is on a slight hill or slope, try to put your main line on top of the slope, so that the water will naturally flow down the T-tape. Use one of Fedco's Smart Lock beginning pieces, or a pressure regulator, to attach your regular garden hose to your main line. Though your main line can act as a garden hose, it is nicer and less easily manageable than a garden hose. Use your main line for the area you need. At the end of the main line, put any device with a valve off or cap. A Smart Lock valve would work great. I usually tie the end as well for good measure. Sometimes the pressure is so powerful that it can blow the end piece right off, and if you tie a hose in a regular knot just before the end piece, you can save yourself from worrying about that. After we've laid out our main line, we want to make holes in the main line using a miracle punch and insert a T-tape fitting. There is a white line on the main line. This is the part you should aim for when putting a hole into the main line with a miracle punch. If you miss, it's okay. It will still work fine. The line is there because it is a reinforced part that helps it to leak less, and also helps the puncher aim in a steady place throughout the entire length of the main line. The miracle punch is much superior to Fedco's manual punch. It saves simple time and energy in punching a simple hole. Before punching your main line to make holes for your emitters to go into, I suggest that you practice your aim on an extra piece of main line a few times, just to get the hang of how to punch holes in the line, and how to do it as accurate as possible. As you're practicing, look at the side of the punch, and you'll be able to have a clearer idea of your accuracy. Once you've made holes in the main line, put your T-tape fittings in. These are the barbed emitters that take water from the main line and send it out to each line of the T-tape. Sometimes they need a little pushing to get in there. If a fitting is especially difficult, I will usually squeeze the area around the hole in the main line, helping to open it up a little for the fitting to go in. After you have the fittings in, lay out your drip tape. Roughly cut it to the length of your bed, then attach it to your fitting by sliding it over the wide barbed end. Try to get the tape over the edge of the barb on the T-tape. Once you've done that, twist the band over the tape to tighten and secure it in place. Continue likewise, cutting the tape to size, and then matching the rest of the fittings with the T-tape. In order to close off the ends of the T-tape, I usually simply make a knot at the end. Once you have everything set up, try turning on the water. There's almost always destined to be a leak somewhere you have to fix. Usually at this point, I'm ready to be done. So, be done for a minute and get a cup of lemonade. Then, come back and finish patching or working out any leaks. The best way to patch a noticeable leak is through duct tape. Only apply duct tape on your hoses when they are dry and clean. Wet solutions to patching your drip tape are ineffective. Much of this refers to Fedco's specific supplies, which is what I have experienced working in at the Colby Garden. There are, however, many other kinds of drip tape, all of which are assembled in a bit different ways. At my parents' house, I made them an irrigation system seamless to their beds, using elbow joints and T-joints in order to make the main line fit the rigid form in the beds and prevent anyone from tripping. You can also use similar equipment, replacing the fittings with spot emitters and barb connectors in order to water trees or bushes. This is simply how we use our equipment at Colby's Garden. Thank you for listening.